King is trying to defend his crown. Kailua Castle, Louis the King, Woodruff 1-2. Louis the King stays king. Louis the King wins the Gauteng Sansui Summer Cup. And Ossetri Ping 3 lengths in front of Carry On Alice, and Ossetri Ping scores. Another one for the Geoff Woodruff stables. Sabadell digs down deep. Shadow of a Smile's on the chase. Then Rushmore River. It's Sabadell who clings on. And Sabadell's just won it from Shadow of a Smile. But it's Geoff Woodruff. A 1-2 once more. Tato Majestique, stable companion, Shepherd's Warning. It's Woodruff 1-2 yet again. Tato Majestique, though, goes all the way and beats Shepherd's Warning. The Woodruff machine is in full tilt today at Gauteng Sansui Summer Cup Day.
A warm welcome to this week's edition of Breeding to Win. And after such a high from the Sansui Summer Cup, we thought it would be just to visit the man who took all the glory on Sansui Summer Cup Day. And that, of course, was no other than trainer Geoff Woodruff. Geoff, great to have you on the Breeding to Win team, and congratulations on such a fantastic day, and more so for Louis the King.
Thanks, Jules, but you know what it's like. All stables are teams, and I've got a team that works very, very well together. And terrific amount of hard work from everybody. I'm just the guy that holds the steering wheel, that's all.
Not only 4 winners on the card, including the Sansui Summer Cup, but 3 exactors as well. I mean, was that one of the best days of your career?
I think results-wise, yeah, for sure, Julie. It was a, you know, when you have the big days, you do kind of target them because, they're always a sort of a spectacle day, and everybody, well, the owners would like to have runners, and for us, it's an opportunity to, well, actually cheat a bit. You give yourself, instead of trying to keep your horses separated and lessening your chances of winning races, they all tend to, you get 2 or 3 nice ones, in one race, gives you a big chance to win it. So, take Sabadell and Shadow of Your Smile, for instance. Those 2, either one of them would have won the race, but sadly you've got to beat yourself.
Well, let's chat about Louis the King, because he caught the eye after a fantastic run in his penultimate start. That was the Empress Palace Charity Mile, when he was flying up for second, and then he went off as favourite in the Sansui Summer Cup, but you had him spot on, Geoff, having his second run after a layoff.
That's a good excuse to use if the horse doesn't run well. It's not one I like to buy into, though, especially with a colt, because their blood count doesn't drop. In fact, you've got the opposite problem with a colt. They're usually inclined to hemoconcentrate a bit, and Louis fortunately doesn't have that problem, but he does hold a very, very strong hemoglobin, and that in itself keeps the horse, keeps him well, and you've just got to look after his muscles and make sure that he's sound. And once again, we got a great team of vets that also help us. There's Rob Sinclair, Terry Casey, Kobe Tadmore, and the advice is there, for these horses. And I listen to them all. If you can pick 3 brains, much better than just picking 1 brain.
Were you concerned when Kailua Castle hit the front, because it looked like Louis was actually going to battle at one stage to get to him?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's just testament to the slow pace. And look, Kailua, I can't work him out yet. He's 5 and we still haven't worked him out. But he's just the horse that every now and again he'll run you some decent races. He did actually run a very decent race in the Charity Mile. He got actually interfered with a little bit by Louis. But and he did get sort of squeezed up there. He would have finished a lot closer, I think, had that not happened. My worry was that Turfentine 2000, I think, is a little too far for him. But because of the slow pace, he was able to sort of get well placed. And Cush rode a marvellous race on him. Outside draw, near to outside draw. And he found himself one off the fence in the midfield, So he gave him a wonderful ride. But he sort of escaped at the right time. Did look a likely winner. He could have knocked me over with a feather because I couldn't actually see anything getting to him. I was thinking, the crowd are going to start throwing bricks at me now, But Louis, Pierre, Pierre's got the courage to actually find that the pace is slow, loop them 3 wide, not loop the field, but move him into a position in the running of the race where he doesn't have too much ground to make up in the straight. And it was a masterful ride. I think actually that's one of the best rides, most enterprising rides I've ever seen from Pierre.
Now, Louis the King, of course, reigns at Turfentine Racecourse. He loves the track, but he kind of lost his spark when he went to KwaZulu-Natal for the season.
He only had the 2 runs. He had the Daily News. Everybody was telling me he's tired and shame and this and that. And he wasn't tired. He went into the Daily News. He came from last and had the fastest finishing last 400. I mean, he wasn't going to run a place. Couldn't run a place because they hadn't gone fast once again. And, he really rattled off a real good time to run third. And he only improved. And I don't know if you remember his July gallop. He galloped with Rake's Chestnut, but he put up a supremely good gallop. I was pretty confident of him going into the race. I really was. He was fresh. I mean, he nearly bucked his groom off the day before. That's how well he was. I mean, Marcus hung in there by the skin of his teeth. And he really was very, very well going into the race. So I had no worries about that. The race itself was completely ruined by selfish riding, I think, from the guys in front. You're talking about a July. First off, we've lost a 20-horse field now, where you had to go. There was generally a good, if not hot pace in the July. Reduced to 16, everybody wants to be sitting 3rd, 4th, 5th at Greyville now because of they changed the whole nature of the track. And you get selfish riding up front. It just ruins the race as a spectacle. And I think the form coming out of that race, although, look, there were 2 very good horses that fought it out. But why was Wiley Hall the odds he was? He's a good horse. But, I mean, he wasn't considered a likely winner before the race. And obviously Legislate's a terrific horse, but he can be up there. Whereas a lot of horses do like to unwind and get a bit of a lead. What it's done, it's taken those horses that need a good fast pace and unwind in the straight and come late. It's taken them out of the race because they're no longer effective. So, as far as I'm concerned, sectional timing, teach the jocks, make it a fair pace, but 13 seconds a furlong. It's not, if a horse can't do that, well, he's not too good. And if a jockey can't count 13 seconds a furlong, he's not too good either. And the stripes must get strong on this now. And I believe that the guys that go up there and pull back on their field, they must actually get a little bit of a holiday. And as they do in Hong Kong, they wouldn't dare do it in Hong Kong. They would be immediately into the boardroom, week suspension. And if they do it again, it's a month. And we've got to get hard on them now. Otherwise, you've got this Cape crawl scenario. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's not proper racing. And I think that's why I enjoy the Joburg racing so much. The horses up here are fit. Okay, we've got a long straight to come off, but they go. And you cannot have one jockey going to the front, pulling back on his field, and not getting censured for it. They've got to get stronger now, the Stripes.
What are the future plans for him now?
He's in the Cape. He arrived there yesterday afternoon, bright and breezy. I spoke to Lucinda this morning, said, ate everything up, very well, very fresh. He's a tough horse, he's surprisingly tough. And Sunday morning, he looked perfect. He looked absolutely perfect, wasn't tired. And he just, actually was quite chatty for him on a Sunday, because generally after the Derby, for instance, he was tired.
Yeah.
That was a hard race. But he was really very, very well. And, we popped him on the float actually on Tuesday. He went down with our Cedric Pink. Now she's going to have a crack at the Majorca Stakes. And both arrived bright and breezy, and let him settle in. So over the week, maybe go for the Queen's Plate. We'll have a look at it, but obviously target the Met. And I wouldn't be worried not to give him a run between now and the Met, because he's you can gallop him, and he's a horse that you can. He actually gives you in his gallops pretty much all you need to see. So I wouldn't be scared of just going straight to the Met, but maybe if we did crack a nice draw in the Queen's Plate, we have a go at that as well.
Well, as we can see behind you, you've trained many a good horse during your career. You've been champion trainer on numerous occasions. Is Louis the King one of the best you've trained?
Yeah, I think he is, Julie. You know what? When they start winning the handicaps, and they themselves are at the top of the handicap, then I'll say yes. Look, you take horses like Jet Master and El Pitcher, Star Effort, the Ventual, the Yardom. They're all favourites, and they're all very different. Louis has definitely got to be one of my favourites. You know, he's just a horse that, you know, some horses touch you more than others, and he definitely does do that.
Well, he's definitely a people's horse. When you heard the crowd roar when he started to make his run in on Saturday up the straight, I mean, it was a fantastic emotion, and it was almost gooseflesh stuff. I mean, that must be a thriller for you, and so great for horse racing to have horses like this still in South Africa.
Good horses definitely do bring people to the track, and you know, he's a horse that I think he's caught a lot of people's imagination, not just ours. You know, we're so close to him that of course he's caught our imagination. But you know, I've done Philip. I think Philip Kahan has really, you know, done a lot for him and done a lot for the Alchemy. I mean, Philip had a great day, and he's always bred a good horse. And now, you know, the probably one of the cheapest horses he's sold turns into one of the best he's ever produced. So, and it's no fluke. He's just a horse. If you look at the way he's built, he's built like a running machine, and he's got a great temperament. Which my only worry about him was that Black Minalush, I hear they're a bit hot, and didn't Black Minalush eat one of his grooms once? And, you know, so I'm thinking, well, maybe there'd be a bit of a temperament issue. He's got to be one of the easiest horses I've ever worked with. You know, race day just stands it.
Well, it is a passionate sport that we're in, and of course, with you being involved with your family, it must be great to work as a team.
You know, Carol, Tim, Lulu, Jessie when she's around, not being a journalist, Manu, Nadia, Thomas van Rensburg. I mean, Tom's been with me, I don't know, for 16 years, I think, and really great to have his help, and a lot of my other grooms. We've got a nucleus of probably a dozen or more grooms that they've been here for 16 years. Goodman, that used to look after LPG, he's about 18. Dennis, I think, is 18 years now. We've always been a sort of a close-knit unit, and it's just so nice that, you know, Tim's very, very big on feed and, you know, the horse's physiology, how to get it optimum, and it's amazing. He's taught me a lot. He really has. You know, I thought I knew a bit, but I mean, he's taught me a lot, and Lulu too, and just the enthusiasm. And Carol's very big on feeding, and you know, we are very fussy the way we feed, but you know, we've just found things, probiotics, stuff like that, that have really raised our game, and you know, I just feel that we're doing a nice job now, much better than, you know, that of a few years ago.
Geoff, thank you so much for allowing us to use your stables today, and of course for taking your time to be on the Breeding to Win show. We wish you all the best for the future season.
Only a pleasure, Jules, and I think all the eyes will be on Legislate, but we'll be going our hardest for Joburg.
We'll be back right after this short break.
Woodruff Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dory Sham and their three sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
The Cape summer season is now in full swing. We witnessed the Grade 1 Avontuur Estate Fillies Guineas at Kenilworth yesterday, and what a fantastic day it was. Of course, with the charity aspect being involved as well. 30,000 Rand going to the charity that won the race. And well done to Pippa and her team on putting together such a fantastic day. I really and thoroughly enjoyed myself. Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights from yesterday at Kenilworth Racecourse, starting with the Tony Tabra Southern Cross Stakes, a Grade 2 event. It was up the straight over 1,000 metres.
As the pens opened, Rosia also not that well away. Alboran landed running along the inside. She's off to show the way. Savannah Song is racing in second, and Fly By Night is sitting on the heels of the early speed. Very Kate is racing deeper out, and then comes Aria, the yellow cap, being followed by the Witch Doctor. Further back, Lana Falcon, Rosia, and behind that, Priceless Jewel with 500 metres left to go. Alboran sees the one in front. She leads the way a length and a half. Racing in second, we got Fly By Night who's tracking her. Then we find Savannah Song, the Witch Doctor. Next it's Very Kate who's coming up the middle. Deeper out we got Aria as they enter the final 200. Alboran being held together in front, and Fly By Night is now out after her to come and make a race of it. Alboran with 100 metres left to go, but Fly By Night is looming up. She draws up and she draws to the lead close home, and Fly By Night beats Alboran. Then came Savannah Song and Lana Falcon.
Bernard, how pleased were you when you were put on this horse?
Geez, I was over the moon, I was sitting in the office, and my agent had sent Mr. Bass a SMS saying we're available in the race, and I was like, no, I'm going to have to go there myself and try and get on one of these horses. And just so grateful for the ride, Grant wasn't too minded, he wasn't too sure what to ride, and I was just very happy that he chose the other one. As much as I wanted to ride the other filly, I was very happy I got to ride in this filly. When I saw the conditions today, 1,000, and everything was going to work out. It was just one of those races that you could plan, and it worked out exactly as I thought it would. And yeah, she dug down deep. She won a good race. Well done to the whole team, and well done to Avontuur also. Just such a lovely day. Nice of them to sponsor me today.
Candice, I mean, this filly, she really has become quite special. Early on in her career, she had the ability, but she's just fantastic at the moment.
Yeah, Vicky, being a jet master, they always do take a little time to mature properly, and she certainly has developed into a really top sprinter. I think the 1,000 metres is probably a minimum trip. I think she preferred 12 is probably her best distance, and she was under a little pressure today to catch Mike's filly. She set a good pace, and she's obviously very speedy. But yeah, it was a very good win from her today. Just well done to everybody, to Marsh, Bryn, Marcus and Ingrid, Derek, a lovely filly, and then also to Avontuur. Thanks so much for their sponsorship today. It's always a lovely day.
Well, the second feature was the Val d'Aran Southeaster Sprint, also a listed race over 1,100 metres for 150,000 Rand, and a quality field it was that lined up for the Southeaster Sprint.
Racing from that 1,100 metre mark. Getting away quickly along the inside was Captain of All, who immediately comes forward to the lead. Up there in second, we got Crescenda. Then comes Capel Wright, who's also pretty pacey. Next towards the inside, the west is wide, Villa de Largo. Daring Davies tucked away, the red body, the black cap, and racing 3 off the leader. Deeper out, we got Happy Forever, then comes Dressed in Cotton as they head towards the 600. Captain of All is the one in front, leads the way by length and a half. Capel Wright is racing in second. Then comes Crescenda racing up the middle. The west is wide, creeping closer towards the inside. Daring Dave is sitting next, and he's coming up the middle. Towards the inside comes Villa de Largo with 300 metres left to go. Captain of All, still under a tight hold, is the one in front. Daring Dave starts to move in and join issue. The west is wide, is coming through along the inside. They're into the final 100. Captain of All, Daring Dave, and up the outside, Dressed in Cotton is motoring home. Daring Dave, Villa de Largo flying. Dressed in Cotton gets up on the line. In second, Villa de Largo. Daring Dave between runners. The west is wide.
he actually stuck to his stars today. Normally, when he hits the front, there's 50 to go and 1,000 meters, he normally goes a lie down. But the pace was a nice one. Got a nice, perfect run on him. And once I asked him, he kicked on nicely. Thank you to the sponsors. Very nice, thank you.
Philip, just a quick mention from you. I know you had a long chat to Stan, but I'm sure you'd rather speak to a lady.
Oh, exactly. I was telling him, got the brains, not the beauty, but now I got you, yeah.
I don't know about that.
No.
But nevertheless, a great day. Well done to Avontuur Estate. You guys always put on a terrific day over here. And it's not always about the racing. You do a lot for the charity as well.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, we've got the Peninsula School Feeding Scheme on board this year, and we're really happy to be able to contribute to a scheme like that. They're doing great things, so yeah, thanks.
The main one on the card was the Avontuur Estate Cape Fillies Guineas, the Grade 1 event over 1,600 metres for a stake of R1 million. With only 10 fillies lining up this year for this event, what it lacked in quantity, it made up for in quality, with number 1 Marge Move from the Mike de Kock stable with jockey Anthony Delpeche going off as the favourite.
On the outside of Majmu, a length and a half away comes Inara. Half back the outside, it's Jet Set Go. Then a length and a half towards the inside where we find Double Whammy, who's sitting on the rail, and she's sitting 8 lengths off the leader. Coovey Brute is pushing past her on the outside. Jeweler's Joy, Sunset Trip, they're racing at the end of the line, and they're sitting a dozen lengths off that leader as they head towards the middle of the bend. 800 metres left to go, and a Tob is the one in front. Grey Light is in second. Majmu is sitting just a length and a half off the early leader. Next in running, we got Inara racing on the inside of Jet Set Go, Double Whammy. Then comes Coovey Brute behind that Sunset Trip. Jeweler's Joy whip them in as they flatten for the run to the judge. Avontuur Estate Cape Fillies Guineas, 450 metres left to go. Majmu can wait no longer. She comes forward and hits the front and she kicks for home. Double Whammy on the rail is out after her. A Tob who's done the donkey work has cried enough. Inara. Jet Set Go, he's starting to lift on the outside. 200 metres left to go, but Majmu says, come and catch me if you can. She's already kicked 3, 4, 5 lengths clear of the balance, and she's gearing down to victory. Majmu, hands and heels, wins it from in second Inara. Double Whammy and Jet Set Go.
It's number 1, Majmu, the favourite, that has made the trip down from the Rand and come home a facile winner of this race today. She was in the hands of Anthony Delpeche. Anthony, well done.
Thank you very much, Staley.
Now, you couldn't have wished for a more perfect position.
Yeah, it all worked out to plan, and I jumped so smartly. My stable companion was a little bit slow away, but he got around and made a lovely pace. And yeah, she quickened up very well and pricked her ears at the end, and I didn't even slap her. She's really talented.
Not for the first time, we're chatting to Mike de Kock after the Fillies Guineas. Well done, Mike.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Now, you must have had some degree of confidence, but Mike, the way she won.
Yeah, she won very well, Stan, but let me just say at first, I'm gutted for Joey and Finch and the boys. I think it does take a little bit of shine off the race, to be fair. You know, for a trainer to get to the start of a Group 1 and not get a run, I mean, it's gut-wrenching. You know, people have got no idea what trainers, grooms, owners go through to get there, and then it doesn't happen for you. But be that as it may, she won. She won a very good race. The strength of the form, I suppose, we'll still have to see, you know, how it holds up. But I think she did it in very good fashion, Stan.
We believe in excellence. We believe that if you're going to do something, you do it to your best ability. We aim to make Balmoral number 1 in the Southern Hemisphere, not just South Africa.
Once again, Grand Parade will be sponsoring this year's Cape Guineas out at Kenilworth Racecourse on the 20th of December for a stake of R1 million. Fortunately, our Breeding to Win team managed to catch up with Hassen Adams out at Naddison Park during the week.
Firstly, what a privilege to come see your farm on Friday. Great development there, and take us through, obviously, some of the building works that are going on there, and also the name Naddison Park.
My real surname is Nadesan. That's the Indian tongue for Naddison. You know? My father was an alien in Cape Town, being a communist and a member of the Trade Union Council. So he had to change his identity and to become accepted in Cape Town. He married my mother, who was Muslim. He became Cape Malayan, so he changed his name from Billy Naddison to Adam Adams. You know, and they all stayed in Adams Street, apparently, and that's where the name comes from. It's taken a lot of energy and a lot of time, but it's been great. You know, we're building, you know, we've got 40 stables. We're building another 24 stables, beautiful state-of-the-art ones.
Well, we saw, obviously, your stables. They've got some history as well. I think they were formerly the Equimark stables. The whole concept there is obviously nice, easy living for the horse.
In my companies, I have entrenched a philosophy of sustainability. And I believe in restoring things and recycling the material. So what you see there is the old stables that were from Durbanville. The roof that you see there is an old school that was demolished, so you'll see genuine Oregon pine trusses there. Inside the stable, we use all the discarded conveyor belt from the mining sector, and it's just worked so beautifully, so much so that the snakes and everybody's coming to look and see what I've done to do the same.
You and Daryl were on the track that you were building, and obviously it's going to be a great gradient in terms of getting horses fit.
I think it's tough on the horses, that particular track, because they go uphill and there's a very short flat section. It's in a beautiful environment, you know. When you look from the track down, the landscape is just unbelievable. You see the whole, you know, Hermanus Valley in front of you and the sea beyond that. I think that horses need space, you know, and we tend to cramp them up in close confines, and then they go into racing stables. And I think if you look at probably more than 50% of the horses, they suffer from halts. You know, horses and game and all of these sort of things, it's an infinite science that you can never conquer. You know, it's an infinite science which makes you love the game. And there are those moments where you also say, wow, what have I done now? There's something wrong here.
Got big paddocks, plenty of space, and obviously you've got the homebred stallion as well in terms of what you raced in the UK, Rocker Rochelle.
My God, he's a beast. And it comes through on his fold. Every trainer that I've spoken to says they are the most well-natured 2-year-olds or race horses that is produced. So we're sitting with some serious potential in this country where we can breed some really, really powerful horses. And I hope that Rocker Rochelle can do that. He's a beautiful horse. He's pitch black. And he's just an incredible horse to work with, you know.
Well, we had the opportunity of seeing both his foals, also his 2-year-olds. And the one thing you can say, they're all very similar.
Yeah, he stamps them. There's no doubt about it. You know, you can see two types of foals in our paddocks. The one is Rocker Rochelle, and they compete with the Gimme the Green Lights. You can see them a mile away. Everybody says, who's that? It's either a Rock or a Gimme. I just spoke to Vaughan Marshall yesterday, and he's got 3 Rocker Rochelles. He says, Hassen, you don't have to worry about them. I'm not going to say anything, but you can rest comfortably, and if you've got more Rocker Rochelles, I'll have them. What we need to now understand is that they need to win races. But I'm doing it because I like it. I love the sport. I've been breeding for a very long time. The fillies that I have brought in from overseas, I mean, they are Galileos. They are Group 1, Group 2 fillies. And the fillies that I love to breed with is the Captain L's. I've probably got the most Captain L's at stud than anybody else, you know, and they're looking like they're producing serious horses.
Right, Hassen, let's move on to the race day, because you've taken over the sponsorship of the Guineas Grand Parade, and it's a day that's grown from strength to strength.
You know what, the Guineas, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest classics that we have in this country for 3-year-olds. The best horses has come from it. The best stallions has come from it. The good news is that this is the first leg of the Triple Crown. In that, if your horse runs in this race, it qualifies for the Triple Crown, which is the Classic and the Derby. My daughter put together the kiddies thing with Santa Claus and the workshops for all these little kids. And we caught in 800 disadvantaged kids. We gave them a big Christmas tree with presents, and the public came afterwards to write little messages and to read their messages that they wrote on the tree. And it turned out to be an amazing success. You know, I had the sponsors come in, and every sponsor, we took most of the sponsorship money and we gave it to charity. I've turned the Guineas into a day of giving, you know, and we call it a fun family day of giving. That's the theme this year. This year we're going to entertain all the families that come to the races in a mega big way. And we're coming out with something very special this year. We're putting in a bubbly lounge, you know. It's a bubbly lounge that goes till midnight, you know, partying. We're going to have a show there. We're going to really have beautiful lounge seating and lots of music and food, and it will just be an event on the grass, under umbrellas, that celebrates Christmas.
Hassen, thanks very much. And obviously, let's talk about, if you had one Christmas wish, if you had a wish that you know that was going to come true, what would that be going forward for Christmas 2014?
For me, my greatest Christmas wish is that if the horse that comes out of this race goes on to win the Breeders' Cup.
And then your last question that I'll be posing to you is Burger King, its involvement. You obviously brought Burger King here to South Africa. How's development going forward there? And obviously the number of branches, that's increased dramatically, hasn't it?
Well, we've opened up our 26th store to date, and we will have about 36, 37 stores by the end of the year. I can tell you, you know, we've done a survey on all the products, and our product ranks ahead of any other product in the country by far in terms of quality and how people perceive Burger King. And I don't like to look at other products. It's like Henry Ford says, you know, he says that you must never look at the competition. You must let them look at you. And the day that they don't look at you anymore is the day that you must start to worry. Well, I'm not worried right now, you know.
Hassen, thanks very much for joining us on the show. You certainly contribute to the show. We look forward to the race day. It looks to be a fantastic event that's scheduled for the 20th of December. And we look forward to joining you there. And everything of the best, I believe, as well, which is a late addition, that both the Stormers and Bafana will be there at the race day. And it'll be a wonderful event, linking sport along with the sport of horse racing. Fantastic day. If you haven't got any plans yet, you certainly want to be joining Hassen Adams out at Kenilworth on the 20th of December.
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare, with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to gavelhouse.com.
Once again, thanks to Gavel House for their sponsorship on Breeding to Win. And tonight we look at the two horses that are being offered by Gavel House. The first is a 2011 filly, Julie by Braveton Soldier, out of the mare Jolly Good Fun. You got to say well named over here. A 10% share is going for 14,000 Rand, an exciting prospect shortly to debut. Now, Doug Campbell is selling on behalf of leading breeder George Rolls. Julie is a well-grown, powerful filly with a winning dam line. She's from the family of Justine and champion filly in South Africa. Well, with a name like that, we can only hope she does do well on the track. The other horse being offered is an unraced daughter of Jutpot out of Belle of Choice. Her name, The Smell of Rain. She's a well-bred filly from a stakes-winning mare. The Smell of Rain is a strong, racy 2-year-old. She's out of a black type winning mare, Belle of Choice, from the same family as Duchess Darber and Phantom News. There are shares available and she's going for 150,000 Rand. If you're interested, contact Mark Bass.
Second or no. So number 14, All Is Secret, is victorious. Well Witcher.
And for the lads won it.
Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos.
Well, once again, thanks to Pippa and her team for having me out at Kenilworth Racecourse, enjoying a fantastic Avontuur Estate Fillies Guineas, and we wish her all the best and her team with the future. A great sponsor of the Breeding to Win show, of course, is Avontuur Estate. From myself, Julie Alexander, and the rest of the Breeding to Win team, until next week, good night.